Chapter 18, Another Visit to Hot Spring Villa. Yifan, you don't look happy. What happened? Zhuang Chang walked down the staircase with two hands in his pockets, looking at Zhao Yifan, who had become prettier compared to when they last met 2 years ago. Zhuang Chang could feel his heart thumping. Nothing. I just felt disgusted. Zhao Yifan glared at Chen Hao and said coldly, that's right. Who does he think he is? He always talks nonsense. Lin Jiao and the other pretty girls seemed to hate him equally as much. They glared at Chen Hao. Zhuang Chang also took a glance at Chen Hao. When he entered the room, he noticed that there was bad blood between Zhao Yifan and Chen Hao. Looking at the situation, both of them seemed to have quarreled. Don't tell me that this guy is flirting with Zhao Yifan. Hehe, how could that be possible? Zhuang Chang quickly scanned Chen Hao's clothing. It only totaled up to about 150. It was impossible that something was going on between Yifan and him. If it's a misunderstanding, we can talk it out. All of you are classmates, so you should get along well with each other. Zhuang Chang smiled brightly and his gaze stopped at Chen Hao. Hey friend, my name is Zhuang Chang. I'm Zhao Yifan's childhood friend. Nice to meet you. After saying that, Zhuang Chang reached out his hand and wanted to shake hands with him. A golden Rolex watch could be spotted on his wrist as his sleeves hiked up. This golden watch was not an ordinary item. It cost at least 100,000. All the girls couldn't stop staring at the watch. Chen Hao looked at Zhuang Chang, doubting his sincerity. As he was about to reach his hand out, he heard Zhuang Chang ask in surprise, wow, my friend. What is the brand of the shirt that you're wearing? I just came back from abroad, but I've never seen this design before. Zhuang Chang stared at Chen Hao's shirt, pretending to be surprised. His lips lifted slightly, full of mockery. He could sense that Zhao Yifan was not friendly to this guy. Why don't I play along and mock him? Hehe, it's just an ordinary brand. Chen Hao knew that he did it purposely with bad intention, but Chen Hao didn't bother about him. To be frank, Chen Hao was thinking of using his sister's VIP shopping card to buy some clothes, but the minimum expense was 300,000. It made him feel profligate. Oh, I see, ordinary brand huh? Li Hao, have you seen this brand before? You've always been in the country all this while. Zhuang Chang looked at his mate from high school. The guy named Li Hao had blonde hair and he was quite fair. Actually, as soon as he came here, his sight was wandering on the pretty girls whose beauty stood out among the others. Like Zhao Yifan, Su Xia and Lin Jiao, listening to Zhuang Chang, Li Hao understood his intention behind the words. Li Hao shook his head and laughed. I really have never seen this brand before. Let me look it up on Google. Two of them asked seriously, as if they were really learning something new. In fact, they were actually mocking Chen Hao. Chen Hao didn't feel embarrassed because of that. However, Zhao Yifan and the girls vented their spleen while looking at Chen Hao. Humph. Looking down on others. You deserve the scoffing now, poor loser. Lin Jiao laughed softly. Being a student who studied abroad, his tactful mockery is much better than a direct insult. He is so cool. Zhao Yifan thought. Obviously, Zhuang Chang targeted Chen Hao because of her. He did not make his insults obvious. Unlike Su Nan, Zhuang Chang mocked him in a way that people couldn't tell it. This made Zhao Yifan happy because she thought that Zhuang Chang was wise and because of what he had done for her. Zhuang Chang, let me introduce my friends to you. After glancing at Chen Hao, Zhao Yifan immediately introduced her friends to Zhuang Chang. Zhuang Chang introduced his high school friend, Li Hao, to them too. Li Hao's family ran a training institute. It was a famous training franchising company on Jinling Commercial Street. Everyone took their seats. Zhuang Chang sat opposite of Zhao Yifan, naturally. As for Li Hao, he seemed to take an interest in Su Xia and Lin Jiao. His sight was fixed on the two of them. While conversing, he kept showing off with the help of Zhuang Chang. The main characters today were actually Yang Hui and Su Xia. No one ever thought that Zhao Yifan's childhood friend would appear and join them, snatching away his opportunity. Yang Hui felt unhappy about it. Of course, Chen Hao had noticed that. Seeing his friend's opportunity being snatched away, Chen Hao couldn't stay out of business. Fortunately, he already had a plan. Before this, Chen Hao had called Li Jinghua in his dorm, telling him to arrange a visit to the hot spring villa with his friends today. This was to support Yang Hui, so that he could gain more admiration from Su Xia. Moreover, Ma Xiaonan had always wanted to visit the villa. Chen Hao looked at the guy named Li Hao. Knowing that Su Xia was invited out by Yang Hui for dinner, Li Hao kept pestering him. Li Hao asked about Yang Hui's family background. In other words, he was trying to say, is your family as rich as mine? Chen Hao was about to mention the trip to Hot Spring Villa. But Zhuang Chang suddenly interrupted and said, oh right. I heard about the news as soon as I came back. I believe all of you know that the Ning family at the Jingling Commercial Street went bankrupt. Sigh, it was too bad for them. My dad was, actually an acquaintance of Mr. Ning, so I asked my dad to acquire Ming Huang Restaurant. Xiao Yifan and the other girls were startled. Regarding the Ning family's affair, of course they knew every detail, because Ning Fan was with them when it happened. However, upon hearing that Zhuang Chang's family was going to take over Ming Huang Restaurant, all the girls made up their minds to make friends with Zhuang Chang. Zhao Yifan nodded. Actually, we knew Ning Fan too. We heard that he offended a big boss behind the scenes, and then the whole family's business went bankrupt overnight. Ming Huang Restaurant, which had always been their main source of income, was forced to move out of Jin Ling Commercial Street. Why? Is Uncle Zhuang taking over the business? Zhuang Chang saw all the girls looking at him. All of a sudden, his vanity was greatly satisfied. He nodded his head. Yeah, my dad is planning to do so. Anyhow, all of us know that business on Jin Ling Commercial Street is booming. So no one would doubt the business value there. Not to mention that my dad always goes to Jin Ling Commercial Street. He is also a regular customer of Hot Spring Villa. Hot Spring Villa. Everyone was excited once they heard the name of Hot Spring Villa. Zhuang Chang nodded his head again and smiled. Why? Have you been there before? She thought about the embarrassment that Ning Fan caused when he mentioned the resort, but Zhao Yifan didn't intend to hide from Zhuang Chang. She told him everything that happened with Ning Fan that day. After listening to her, Zhuang Chang laughed and said, I never thought Ning Fan would end up in this situation. But Yifan, since you didn't get to go to the villa, I'll bring you there this time. I just have to give my dad a call. Whoa. Zhuang Chang, really? Lin Jiao asked in a lovely tone. Of course. Excuse me for a while, I'll call my dad now. Zhuang Chang dialed a number once he finished his words. After explaining the situation, he hung up the phone. Why don't we leave now? I'm afraid there will be a lot of customers in the afternoon, then it will be difficult for my dad to make an appointment. Yes. Sure, all the girls agreed. Great. Then Li Hao will drive there too. We go in 2 cars. After Zhuang Chang finished speaking, Li Hao went to get his car happily. Zhuang Chang, 2 cars should be enough to bring 7 of us including Xiaonan. But how about them? Zhao Yifan pointed at Chen Hao, Yang Hui and the rest of them. Zhuang Chang asked them, none of you drove here. Yang Hui's face turned red. He shook his head and said, it's okay. We are not joining. Ma Xiaonan felt so bad because she was stuck in the middle. I'm not going if they are not going. Chen Hao really didn't want to put Ma Xiaonan in an awkward situation every time. He knew that she really wanted to visit the resort. Chen Hao immediately said. Xiaonan, you go with them first. We have ordered a table of food. We'll meet you there once we finish eating. Chen Hao purposely said this so that Zhao Yifan and Su Xia could hear him. Yang Hui has ordered a table of food, and you are leaving now without even eating any of it. How could you be so inconsiderate? Zhao Yifan, who was observant, understood his words and immediately scorned. Oh, you are going there later. Do you think you can enter the resort later without Zhuang Chang? It's just a table of food, so do you need to be so stingy? Or shall I help you pay for the meal? Yang Hui shook his hand and said, you don't have to. Forget about us, just go. Su Xia, see you next time. Yang Hui took a quick glance at Su Xia. I was about to say see you later. But Zhao Yifan is right, how would I be able to enter the villa later? Yang Hui thought. Then, Zhao Yifan and the girls left in excitement, hoping that it wouldn't be another embarrassing event like the other day. After they left, Yang Hui looked at the dishes on the table. He was disappointed. Hui, don't be upset. We're going to the villa later as I said. Chen Hui tapped on Yang Hui's shoulder. Yang Hui smiled bitterly. I know you're trying to cheer me up. Thank you for that. There is so much food left, so let's not waste them. After we finish eating, let's go back to our dorm and sleep. Chen Hao knew that Yang Hui thought he was just talking nonsense to cheer him up. Chen Hao smiled, thinking that he shouldn't hide from them anymore. To be frank, he was the reason why Yang Hui and his friends were being laughed at and bullied all the time. Chen Hao felt bad about it too. Immediately he took out his phone and called Li Zhenghua. Zhenghua, I'm going to the Hot Spring Villa with my friends later. Can you arrange 2 cars to send us there? Li Zhenghua replied respectfully. Roger, Mr. Chen. Where are you now? Chen Hao told him the address and location. Yang Hui and the others looked at Chen Hao in surprise. Damn, Chen, who did you call just now?